Well, if you're just tuning into this, yes, this is a very special unboxing. Another special order package all the way from Her Majesty's great country of the United Kingdom, England. And this also is a machine that is from the mid to latter part of the 1800s. And I won't tell you what it is yet, but we will see soon enough. So let's get going and getting this box open. Customs papers for coming into the U.S. When you're opening a box like this and they've got it just covered in this fragile tape, use your hand to kind of feel, to see where you can feel that pucker and that popping up, so that you've got a little bit more of a confidence and cushion as far as getting into there without potentially damaging the machine that's inside. That's kind of what I was doing with my hand, is I could feel a little bit of a pucker here, a little bit of a pucker there, and so that's why we're going to open it through those two seams. Well, first of all, let me get a little bit more music on. That first one you just heard is actually called Newsroom News, and the second one I'm about to put on is called Hovering Thoughts. So let's see what we think of this one, Hovering Thoughts. So you can imagine the number of hands that have touched this package from the time that it left the United Kingdom, heading to our small town of Oconto, Wisconsin, traveling a distance of about 4,000 miles. You can only imagine, wouldn't it be fun to have a little camera on here to see all the people that have handled it, and probably the way they handled it as well. Which is why I always say, you can put a fragile sticker on a box, but you have to prepare that item to be protected, because they're not going to look at this and go, oh my goodness, it's fragile. Nope, that's not going to happen probably. Well, there's an abundance of styrofoam, that's for sure. And it smells perfumed. You can't smell that in the Premiere, but it smells like somebody spritzed it with something to give it kind of a nice smell. Maybe the machine was musty and they were kind of covering that up. I have no idea. I personally am not a real big fan of styrofoam. I know a lot of folks will use it, but it does tend to be a little bit on the brittle side. You'll notice, as people put it in, that it breaks up while it's in transit as the package takes the natural hits and impacts that a package will take. Not to mention, it also, in many cases, as it ages, it becomes more rigid and becomes less of a cushioning factor, and it really is just a filler. So, no knock to my friends over in the United Kingdom that packed it with this stuff. It's probably what they had available, but it's not the ideal packing material. It simply isn't. All right, I'm going to start to make a stack of this stuff. And our next song is going to be Official National Anthem. I'm not sure of which country. Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. I guess provide a little bit, again, a little bit more filler. Our goal in packing and protecting a vintage machine is not to use filler. It's to use material that's going to provide shock protection, cushioning, and padding. So, you know, again, this is not something that I would recommend that you use if you're shipping to the workshop. So. See, again, I don't know, I can only suspect that these pieces were not this small when the journey started. They just kind of just splinter, you know, with the different impacts that the machine takes. So I have no idea which national anthem that's for. It doesn't say. So if any of you know and you want to type it in the chat, if you recognize that national anthem, what country it's for, I welcome it. So let's see, what's the next one I have? Oh, and all I did was type in classical as far as the search type of music I was looking for. I wanted something a little bit more formal. And guess what popped up again? Anchors Away with the United States Naval Choral Group. Which, you know what, I never miss an opportunity to play this. I love the way these men sing. They just do a fabulous job. All right, so I'm going to let you kind of look into the box. Again, it looks like our friends in England, they like wrapping the machine instead of in stretch wrap with reinforcing it with strapping tape. They like garbage bags. States Marines. All right, so we are down to the bottom. Cushioning on the bottom, and you can see again how it splinters. The stuff basically just disintegrates. They've got one piece of styrofoam in the bottom. It's probably about a little bit more than an inch thick, and that's the only protection on the bottom for the vintage machine. And I can tell you this vintage machine is in a wooden base, so that in my opinion is not adequate. Particularly, I'm not feeling a huge amount of padding around the machine itself, the core of the machine. So my friends in the United Kingdom need to spend a little bit more time on our YouTube channel and watch my packing method so that they can do a better job of protecting their merchandise that's being shipped to customers. It's a lot more of a headache to try to reconcile an issue that's erupted because of poor packing than it is to invest a little bit more time in packing that item in a sound manner. You know, whether it's traveling almost 4,000 miles like this package did, or whether it's going to Illinois, you know, a couple hundred miles away, we pack the same way every single time because those variables of not knowing what's going to impact that package in transit, those things that we can't control, those unknown factors are the things that we have to assume are going to happen, and we have to prepare for them. And again, I may find that everything arrived perfectly. Well, that's amazing. That's a little bit of good fortune, I would say, because this packing job is definitely not up to our standards. All right, let me toss that to the side, and we'll get our star right in the center here. Probably adjust my camera angle a little bit. And see, these things are also kind of irritating because then the static electricity of this garbage bag kind of attracts them, and then you get them just floating all over the place. Ah! Please don't pack your machine in styrofoam and send it to the workshop. Please don't do that. All right, so this next one is called, and some of these I think I played recently. Maybe my searches need to change. Matter of fact, let me make a quick change to the search right now, and I will type in something like violin. Violin. Let me see what I get. All right. I'll just play this first one. It's called the Might Not. The Might Not. All right, how's our shot? Yeah, let's adjust this a little bit. Again, angle your scissors away from the machine. Well, I stand corrected. This is not a traditional garbage bag. This is kind of a black style stretch wrap, kind of a wider version of what I would be accustomed to seeing. So I take back that all of our friends in the United Kingdom like to use garbage bags, because that's apparently not the case. All right, all of you smarty pants that follow me very closely, you may already be looking at the fact that you can kind of see the fiddle outline of the body of the machine, and you can see a similar base to another Premiere that I did recently, and you might already be suspecting which model this is. Yeah, the protection again on the inner core of this machine is, in my opinion, is very, very poor. We've got this black type stretch wrap that they put around the body of the machine. There's a little bit of bubble wrap on the inside. Again, it's not a single unit. Again, you lose all the effectiveness of bubble wrap if you don't cinch it down with stretch wrap and then secure it with a strapping type tape. All it is just floating there. It's decorative, it's cosmetic, it's window dressing. So, you know, especially for an experienced individual that works with machines, you know, I'm not impressed at all with the packing job that this English gentleman did on this machine. It's very poor. And again, I'll count it to good fortune if the machine arrived without any damage. Yeah, we have like 2 layers of bubble wrap, and you can see it's loosey-goosey. Don't ship your machine like this to the workshop. If you're going to use bubble wrap as far as that inner core, you want to do at least 6 layers, between 6 to 8 layers depending on the machine. And then you want to strap it down with stretch wrap and then reinforce that with a strapping type tape. This is definitely not a great example of packing for fragile. Okay, let's see. Let me put one more song on as we take the very final layers of what is a very thin-skinned onion of protection around this machine. And I might as well put on something that has a little bit of a classier feeling to it. Invitation to the Castle. You've heard this numerous times on this channel. What a lovely piece. And I don't think we can overuse it as long as we obviously don't play it multiple times in the same premiere. All right, here we go. All right, well, if you were guessing that it is a Singer 12K from the 1800s, you were spot on. And this model specifically, like the other parts version that I showed you, another machine I received from England, is from 1885. You do the math. Oh, okay, the handle's tucked in. Well, I won't jimmy, I'll just leave it like that. I was gonna try to snap it into place, but... All right. Well, there you have it. A Singer 12K from 1885. I'm gonna come off the tripod, we'll get a little bit closer to this lovely machine. Just arrived from over the waters that lead away from the great country of the United Kingdom. Yeah, this is a pretty one. Lovely, 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 lovely. And I also have to commend the seller that I bought it from, the individual, because guess what? Unlike the other one, this one actually has evidence. Yeah, I think we'll skip this one. This one actually has evidence of already being set up to sew. Let's take a look. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at that stitch and I'm saying it doesn't look like the bobbin case is balancing that perfectly. It looks like that upper tension is a little bit on the higher end. But again, I don't know what kind of needle is in here right now, so, and the quality of the needle. Lovely oak base. Interesting presser foot, isn't it? It looks very industrial compared to a lot of the earlier hand crank versions. Yeah, all in all, the paint in the filigree is looking like it's in pretty decent shape. Again, we have to give a little bit of leniency to this machine, considering it's from 1885, right? A little rough on the balance wheel, but that can be buffed out and cleaned up a bit. Yeah, a little bit of cleanup needed on there, I think. Oh, hey, Dr. Singer. You decided to pop over. I'm not surprised. This is one of your early babies from 1885. Yep, you're right. Yep, like the other one we had, but this one is actually complete right now because it has a hand crank on the side of it. And yes, you're right. Yep, I did order an original hand crank to complete that other 12K that we previously premiered as well. So then we'll have two 12Ks complete, ready to go, and we'll just have to fine tune them and get them sewing like a champ and laying down great stitches so we can potentially offer them to one of our friends. What do you think of this, Dr. Singer? Yeah, I think she's got a lot of potential as well. I agree 100%. Oh, this is the piece that, if you look at that previous premiere on the other 12K that I got from England, you'll notice that this was in the bottom underneath this cover as you rotate the machine back. This one is actually mounted correctly to here to hold the machine in place. I'm just curious. Dr. Singer's going to take a little bit of a step back so he's safe. Just kind of tilt this back and we'll just kind of take a peek underneath here. Nothing living in the oil pan. That's always a good thing, huh? All right, we'll lock that back into place. That's our only safeguard right there to keep this machine secured to the base. I'd also be curious if I'm able just to carefully lift this 12K up, you see any evidence of any damage to the bottom. Again, the padding on the bottom of here was pathetic. Very, very poor. So I see scratches, but I don't see any cracks. But again, upon closer inspection, I may discover something that I can't see readily right now. So I would say the gentleman from England has good fortune that with what I would describe as a less than stellar packing job, that the machine appears to have arrived unscathed. I'm going to zoom in on this right here. Singer emblem also on the needle plate cover. It's kind of neat. Slide it open. I'm assuming we're going to see our shuttle, unless it's swung back a little bit. Oh, there's the edge of it. Our shuttle and our carriage. So we have certainly not an optimized 12K right now, but we do have a machine that I commend the gentleman that I purchased it from, who, according to his story, had this in his family for generations upon generations upon generations. This belonged to a great-great-grandmother, and so the provenance ties of this are a lot clearer than the provenance ties were on the other 12K that I also got from the United Kingdom. But all in all, I think a lovely piece of aesthetic and mechanical engineering. Just a phenomenal piece. I'll kind of drop down a little bit and we'll look at it all the way across like this. And again, I think all in all, the filigree is in very good shape. Although the centerpiece here on the other 12K was actually more complete than this one. This machine obviously has gotten quite a bit more use, and as a result, that decal in the center has been worn down quite a bit more. But other decal portions of the machine are in excellent condition on this 12K. Again, we're considering a machine that has original paint, original decals, and is from 1885. God knows how many hands have handled it, right? So, you know, all in all, I think it survived very, very nicely. Interesting too, if you, I probably had exactly the same thing on the other emblem, but I didn't point it out. Here we have the Singer Manufacturing Company, kind of abbreviated there, right? And then it's New York. That is, if my camera focuses, it's New York. New York. So somehow in concert with most of these 12Ks being found over in England, a lot of them most likely were launched, or at least had ties to the manufacturing efforts out of New York, or so it would appear. I don't know that for gospel, but it seems like a reasonable assumption to make based on the emblem design on this particular machine. And I'd have to look back at that other one to see if it said New York as well. I really don't remember. Do you? I don't remember if it said New York or not. So I don't know what you think of 12Ks, but I think that they are one sexy looking machine. And I'm particularly fascinated by the undercarriage engineering that allow it to be in a base that is, I mean, compared to other bases, is paper thin. I mean, we're talking about this is the lower part of the base, this is the upper part of the base that the machine is mounted to. We're really talking about a total distance from top to bottom of maybe 2.5 to 3 inches. And so even the engineering design of these 12Ks and being able to be mounted successfully in such a shallow mounting base. And again, in a lot of these designs, this one doesn't look like it was necessarily in a base that was set up to do that. But a lot of these will also have covers as well that will go over the top and then give you portability. And I didn't, it's possible, and again, I'm not extremely familiar with 12Ks other than the two that I have now in my personal collection, but it's possible that that mounting base somehow straps to the bottom, but I don't think so. I think that this is a mounting base that was set up with the intent of it being tabletop, not necessarily being carried around. Doesn't mean you couldn't carry it around, but it may be just a tad awkward. So there you go. Our second unboxing from England. The same make and model, a Singer 12K from 1885. Both machines, once they're fully operational, once they're running tip-top, in all likelihood, as I continue to march forward and look at trying to downsize my personal collection from almost 250 right now. And yes, I continue to acquire fabulous machines like this one. As I continue to move towards trying to downsize just a little bit, keep watch. It's very likely that one or both of these 12Ks will eventually pop up on the radar for sale. So, all right, well, that wraps up this premiere. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed seeing another beautiful 12K from the 1800s. And again, I just think that they are a spectacular piece. I really do. And I'm really looking forward to being able to get both of them running optimally, and just seeing how well they sew. And of course, I'll do a premiere on that as well, and share that with you so you can see these machines operating. Otherwise, what's the point? It's nothing more than a decorative piece. So, God bless. Hope you're staying healthy amid the corona craze all around the world. As I shared in another premiere, it's impacting our moderator Hans in Norway. It probably in some ways impacting Bill down in Florida. And rumor has it that it will soon be affecting our ability to have mobility here in the great state of Wisconsin. So stay tuned. You may see a lot more premieres coming out of the workshop because our ability to move around may be restricted in their effort to try to contain this virus. All right, God bless, and keep on sewing.